This is the single most useful freshman guide to college you will ever watch. I'm not here to hand-hold you through the process. Remember to bring an extra toothbrush to college. Dog, who cares? You got your parents for that. You got these other NPC YouTubers with their corny ass content for that. I want to make every point in this video something that you probably have never heard of before. This is going to be the guide that actually gives you like an advantage over other people when you enter college. We're going to talk about all of the important topics: how to have the best first day, degenerate college life, parties, the easiest ways to get good grades, but I'm going to need y'all to peep game and lock in, alright? Because I'm about to put you on. Let's start with the preparation and everything you're going to do leading up to college. First, if you are a commuter, you are not living on the college dorms, your experience is not going to be the same. You need to be living in campus dorms, especially in your freshman year. This is when you're actually going to be able to have that college experience. Also, when you're going ahead and you're picking out your dorms, try to pick something that's as close to like the center of campus and where the social life is going to be happening. If you have to take a bus to get to your dorms, if you're living off campus, you are not going to have that great of a social experience. That's just the first thing. Get it out the way. If you have a choice to pick your dorm, pick something that's in a good location. That's the most important thing. After that, if it's just modern and whatnot, like it's all renovated, that's great. The next thing you need to do before college starts is get your body right. You should already be lifting in the summer before college at least 5 times a week, if not 6 times a week in the gym. Pumping weight. Your goal is to put on as much muscle as possible before college, and this is for like 2 main reasons, okay? First of all, you're going to feel so much more confident if you are in shape. What you want to be doing is like lean bulking or just proper full out bulking before college starts in the couple months leading up to it. And then right before college starts, maybe like about a month before, you can start doing a little bit of a cut. Now, if you're not really used to working out and you're just now getting into the gym, don't worry about like bulking and cutting, just go and work out. Like I'm telling you, within a month, 2 months, you will see like noticeable changes and you will feel so much better about yourself. The second reason you should be working out this much is actually like a very functional reason. When you come to college, you'll realize that in the first couple weeks, there is so much like physical stuff you have to do. First, you gotta move in, and then you're gonna be going to like all kinds of different like parties and different occasions. You're going to need to be running around campus a ton, especially like if you live in a campus that's kind of hilly and your classes are a little bit far away. There is so much like walking and stuff you have to do. You wanna kind of condition yourself for that environment so that when you go to college, you don't just get tired. Like halfway through the day, you're not feeling exhausted because you have to walk a mile to class and back. You're actually in shape and you can just power through the day, no problem. So when I was in high school, I rarely touched social media. But when you go to college, like this is not the time to be like ultra focused, locked in, deleting social media and like doing your own thing. When you're trying to be productive, there's nothing wrong with that, but this is not the time. You need to do everything you can to try to improve your social circle, your network. That means improving your social media game. Follow exactly what I say in these next couple steps, okay? First, you're gonna make sure you have Instagram and Snapchat downloaded if you don't already. Next, you're gonna open up Instagram. If you have any of your posts, like any recent posts you've done in the last couple of years, go through them. Anything that's kind of whack, anything that's not really that aesthetic where you look kind of bad, or maybe you were like a lot younger, take the posts, archive them. You want to make your Instagram as clean as possible. The next thing you're going to do is start following a bunch of people from your high school and the college that you're about to go through. Just go to like your college's class of 2028 page and just start following everyone that you see that's like, it seems that you could become friends with. The reason that you're also following people from your high school is just to get your total number of followers up. I know some people like to come and say like, oh, followers don't matter. They really don't. Like, it's not going to impact your life happiness, but it just looks better if your Instagram account has a couple hundred followers as opposed to like 13 and you're getting 5 likes per post. This just flows directly into the next thing that we want to do, which is make about 1 to 2 Instagram posts before you go to college. Now, I'm not talking about your corny, you're sitting there with, imagine this is like your homie, right? And you're sitting there with like your arm around his shoulder, smiling like this. Nah, bro, that stuff is so goofy. What I want you to do, if you literally don't know like how to make aesthetic Instagram posts, look up my Instagram. Like it's linked right here, probably somewhere at the top of the description. Go to my Instagram, look at some of the posts, look at like the poses that I do, and then steal the actual like captions and the entire vibe. I'm telling you, like nobody is going to know. It's not like I'm some super big creator with like millions of followers here. Literally take the exact poses that I'm doing, where I'm like sitting a certain way, or I'm standing in front of like a certain type of thing, and do your best to like go out with your homies and recreate those posts. Steal the exact captions. I'm telling you, my shit is fire. I'm putting you on. We are being like 150 IQ smart right now. Because the reason you did the last step before, where you started following people from your college and whatnot, is because once you make these good Instagram posts, people from your college will see the posts. And that way, before you're even going into college, they kind of have some level of image of you in your mind. As you're also doing this like following and whatnot, you want to try to keep up a little bit of networking. So let's say you follow someone from college and they put something on their story. Feel free to slide up and like say something, or if they make a post, feel free to like put a little comment on it. All you're doing is just kind of getting a couple friends, a couple acquaintances going. And if you want and you see like some kind of upperclassman that you maybe follow on Instagram, you can go ahead and just reach out to them. Maybe they're in like a frat and you want to just ask them a couple questions about that, or they just go to the college and you have some random questions. Shoot your shot with as many people as possible. It's online, it doesn't matter. 90% chance you won't even see these people as soon as you go to college, so it doesn't even matter. I remember when I was in high school, I also didn't use Snapchat that much, but when you go to college, you want to make sure you have all of these options open because some people are just more open to using Snapchat than maybe like Instagram DMs. Also, Snapchat has this like really nice feature where like, let's say you want to add someone on Snapchat, right? A lot of times when you're at like a party or whatever, you can't hear them. They're not trying to type their Snapchat username to your phone. They just got like the icon, right? You just go over their phone and you like add them on. Bro, it's the most convenient shit ever. Download Snapchat and like be familiar enough with it to where you should probably be using this like your first at least 3 months of college, like consistently like snapping people and doing all your outreach and stuff. People are going to hit you up on there. This is clean. Get used to it. You're going to need it. The last preparation thing is something that I know you want to hear, and it's the type of stuff that you should be bringing to college. If you don't want to be a loser, you have to be buying and bringing all of these things. Like, don't be cheap, bro. First off, you want to have a pair of beater shoes. I don't care if it's like your old Air Force Ones, the shoes that you wear to the gym. You want to bring a pair of shoes that you literally do not care about to college. I'll explain why in a couple minutes. You also want a speaker, and the bigger the speaker is, the better. Sometimes like the portable ones are also super convenient, but you should have something that if you need to play music, you can go ahead and play it. In addition to that, you also need like an app to play the music on. Bro, get Spotify Premium. I swear to God, if I see someone else using like some goofy ass like Musi or some shit, like if someone gives you the aux and you tell them that you can't because you don't have premium, it looks so weird. Also, it's literally free. If you were a college student and you don't already know, you get 3 months of Spotify Premium for free. Plus, if you actually like pay for the subscription, it's like 50% off. Just go ahead and buy it. Medicine is also super useful. Get yourself some kind of like ibuprofen, Tylenol. If you want some kind of antibiotics, those are also chill too. The main thing to keep in mind is that getting sick in like your first couple months of college is not a matter of like if it's gonna happen, it's just when. You're in a new environment, people are like nasty, a bunch of people in your dorm are not even gonna wash their hands or shower, let's just keep it a buck. You're gonna get sick at some point, and a lot of times it's going to be at some super inconvenient point. You're gonna have an exam in a couple days and boom, you are out of commission. Pop a couple ibuprofens, get locked in. You're gonna feel like you're floating. Just study a little bit, go take your exam, and then crash. You wanna have medicine in case some situation like that comes up. And then I have a couple rapid fire things you should be buying. Buy LED lights for your dorm, they'll look 10 times better. You want a fan as well, just because the dorms get super hot, this will keep you cool. And then if you get hungry, you should have some kind of snacks in your dorm, but we're also not like these super unhealthy people over here, so the best thing you can do is just buy a box of protein bars, find something that you really like, and then just go ahead and buy it. I really like the Fit Crunch bars. Maybe I'll put like a link to it in the description if you want to buy those same ones. They're pretty cheap and they're actually good to eat. And then the last thing, this is literally a sleeper item. Buy yourself a banger mattress topper. This is something I just gotta shout out my mom for. I bought one of those like 5-inch thick ones. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I go to college and I sleep on that bed, it's literally more comfortable than my bed at home. It's so good. I've had my homies like pull up to my dorm and literally like fall asleep on my bed because it's so comfortable. You will not regret purchasing a mattress topper. You can use it all 4 years of college. You don't want to have to sleep on like the trash, like rock hard mattress that they give you. Get yourself something nice. I also got a crazy tip for you guys here, especially if your college is not like nearby to your home. Buy all of these items on Amazon and have them ship it directly to your college. Your college will probably have some kind of like a mail center or a warehouse. They will store all of it on campus for you if you buy it like like the week before college, and then you can go there and pick it up. A lot of people have like this misconception that like, oh, you should be going to college and then buying like maybe like the drawers for your dorm, right? Those little plastic things at like the local Walmart, or you buy a fan at the Walmart there. It's either going to be super expensive because they're going to mark up the prices, or they're just going to be out of stock. There's so many college students in town, Walmarts and like Targets, they're not going to be able to carry everything you need. Amazon will get you like good quality deals, and you can just have it shipped directly to your college, so you don't have to worry about going there, taking an Uber, and then figuring it out. Last thing, if you actually want to succeed like socially in college, is to buy some nicer clothes. It's not that expensive if you have no taste. I'm not going to give you the full rundown here, but I have other like sleeper videos on my channel that actually bang. Just go watch those, figure out what clothes to buy, and then come through looking, you know, a little bit clean. Let's fast forward to the start of college. The first experience you'll go through is move-in day, going ahead and getting all your stuff, getting into your dorms. The thing you want to keep in mind here is that your goal is to talk to as many people as possible. You are a social butterfly. It doesn't matter who you see around you, whether it's your roommate, some random guy outside who's helping you move, the local, you know, street vendor, some guy at like Taco Bell. Talk to everyone, because you want to be in that social flow as you're entering the semester. As long as you can break the ice and you do it like 2-3 times, you get your confidence going, you're like in your element, everything becomes so easy from there. When you pull up though, you'll probably be with your parents on move-in day. I remember when I was moving into college, like I would see these little like freshman people. I mean little, but I was also a freshman too. But they'd just be like standing in like the corner. Maybe they're with their parents. They'd feel like mad awkward. I don't know if it was the presence of the parents being there or they were kind of weird. Probably a mix of both. But don't feel like just because your parents are there, you have to like be kind of weird. Like you don't feel confident in order to talk to other people. It does not matter, bro. Just go up and say something. It doesn't matter if your parents are there or not. Don't let them interrupt you trying to do your social things. It doesn't matter whether they judge you or not. They're about to leave you there in like 2 days, bro. Why do you care? You also want to try to connect with your roommates before college if you don't already know them. And then at a minimum, try to become like semi-homies with them. So if that involves doing like a little FaceTime call or whatever, just get to know them, because having a good relationship with your roommates and like, you know, maybe they do you a couple favors later down the line, you do something for them, that's really the best case scenario here. I've seen instances where people are like kind of beefing with their roommates, they don't really like them, or their roommate's just kind of weird. And if you do a little bit of legwork here, like you realize your roommate's kind of weird and you kind of get a sense of what their personality is like before you enter college, that'll just put you in a situation where you can work best with them, and you know, you'll have the best freshman year as well. Crazy next level tip incoming here. You want to move in early. Just because they give you 3 to 4 days like as a range of move-in dates and you think, oh, you know, I'm just gonna stay home for an extra 2 days with the family. No. You've been staying with them for 18 years, bro. 2 days is not gonna kill you. Pick the earliest move-in slot possible. And here's the tip here. If you're like flying into college or you're traveling in, you can literally ask your college like, hey, you know, I'm a freshman. Can I get accommodations to move in 1 extra day early? And that way you can guarantee that you move into college before your roommate. The reason that's so important is because once you enter your college dorm, if you have another 1, if not 2 people living in your dorm, if you can get there before them, you can go ahead and pick where you want to be living for that next year in the dorm. Pick the best bed, pick the best area, and then if the dorm is also like kind of malleable, like you can move around the stuff, use like your parents' help and move the dorm layout to exactly what you want it to be. Once you're moved in and you're settled, it's not like your roommate can come in and change everything as well, and obviously you're already in your bunk so they can't ask you to leave. This is how you make sure you secure like good level setup for the next year or so, because the worst thing that can happen is you're living in like a setup with like 2 other people in your same room and you have to be on the bed that's closest to the door, or have the bed that everyone comes and like sits down on when they come into your room. Once move-in is done, your parents will leave, and I think as soon as they leave, there's gonna be like this realization that sets in like, oh shit, like I'm here actually in college. This is crazy. You know, I don't have my parents here or whatever. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You're not gonna miss your parents. Like you're not gonna feel bad for at least the first 1 to 2 months, because there's just so much going on. Like you're actually excited, maybe a little bit nervous for college, which is a good thing. You're gonna be doing so many things, meeting so many people. At least for the first couple weeks of college, you're not gonna feel super bad. Your parents are always a phone call away, and so it's not going to like, the homesickness is not gonna set in until later down the line. We're gonna talk about that a little bit, you know, further on in the video, but for now, you're gonna be feeling okay. With that being said, just because you don't miss your parents doesn't mean your parents don't miss you. Call your parents, man. Like, are you serious? I remember like maybe like a month into the school year, I was with, one of my recent homies, and I was looking at his MacBook, and you know how like iMessage sends messages and you can like see the text on screen? I'm looking over, and I'm seeing bro's messages with his mom. He's straight up leaving her undelivered for like 3 to 4 days at a time.
Bro, what the hell is wrong with you, bro?
It takes 15 minutes to call your parents. Just do it. It's not that big of a deal. Don't try to fight this shit. When college is starting out, there will be a bunch of different orientation things and freshman events to go to. You're going to go to every single one of them. It doesn't matter if you have friends. I'm speaking from personal experience here. When I went to college, I knew nobody, 0 people. If I was able to go to those events by myself and figure out a way to have a good time, meet new people, make new friends, as someone who's honestly not that extroverted. Like in high school, I was somewhat of an introvert. I just pushed myself to go out in there and talk to people. I built my social skills from the ground up. You're gonna go to college, you're gonna force yourself to go to these events, and the most important thing to keep in mind is that you can kind of convince yourself to get going and go to an event. But once you're there, imagine you go with like a group of like 1 or 2 acquaintances, or you go with your roommate. Your roommate goes, they're doing their own thing. You're all alone. You're standing in like this middle of this room filled with a bunch of people doing like random things. In one corner, they're playing pool. On another table, they're doing like foosball. In another room, they're like dancing and doing some, random stuff, whatever's going on at this event. You're going to feel like maybe an hour in, like, damn. Like, you're gonna hit like a down, like, there's nothing going on here. I have no friends. I should just dip. When that feeling comes in, like that thought comes into your mind, that's a note to yourself that you just need to push through and stay a little bit longer. That moment, that deciding moment when you decide to stay will literally change the course of your entire college experience. There are at least more than 10 occasions where I just stayed a little bit longer and I ended up running into someone super dope, or I had like a chain reaction of events where I like went on a mini adventure with a group of guys, we did some crazy stuff, and I ended up becoming super close with them. You have to stick with it. This is how you actually build lasting connections. It's by putting yourself out there and feeling uncomfortable. Now, as you're going about doing these things and becoming more social, there's a couple specific types of people you also just want to keep your eye out for, because it's very, very useful to be friends with these people. First person is going to be someone with a car. It doesn't matter whether they're like a commuter or someone who lives in the area or some random guy who just brought his car up to campus. Find someone who has a car. When you're in your freshman year, most colleges have a rule where they actually don't allow freshmen to have cars. So anyone who does have something like that is like a rare commodity. They unlock opportunities for your friend group to go make friends with them. Next is upperclassmen. If you can make friends with a handful of upperclassmen, they will give you all kinds of tips. They will plug you on some super good advice. Sometimes they'll have connections to get you into parties and whatnot. It's just useful to have. So if you're going ahead and meeting people at clubs and maybe in class, and you meet some people who are a little bit older than you, it's worth your time to invest in those relationships. I remember when I first started meeting people, I would judge them kind of harshly in college, especially some of the guys that I'm closest friends with today. When I first saw them on Instagram, I thought that they were super corny. I had a whole image of what they were like, and I thought that they were gonna be mad weird when I pulled up on them. But eventually, as I got to know them, they were hella cool, and now they're my closest friends. Secondly, when you first meet people, sometimes some people are good people, but they just don't have the best charisma. They're kind of awkward to talk to, or they say some weird things, or when you go to college you'll realize that everyone's kind of insecure and everyone lies. People make up all kinds of stories about themselves. Just don't take it too seriously, okay? And also don't take yourself super seriously either. If you go and you get curved by people, rejections can happen with either dudes or girls, right? You go up to talk to some guy to become friends and he's not really interested or whatever. It is what it is, bro. You just gotta move on with life. You can't take any of these things super seriously, because the whole goal here is to do it in bulk. You're not gonna have every single person just falling in love with you. To keep the momentum of your friend groups and these connections going, what you're also going to do is organize some kind of event within the first little bit of college. Maybe you decide that there's some party that you and a couple homies that you just recently met can go to. Maybe you guys want to go down to some restaurant and check it out. Most people are down if you're the initiator. And when I say you're making friends and you're bringing people to come along, I'm not just talking people of your gender. If you're a dude, you shouldn't just have a bunch of dudes pull up. This is the best time to also make friends with a bunch of girls as well. If you're a girl, make friends with a bunch of guys, and that way you guys have a nice wholesome friend group together. There's not any pressure, it's not awkward or anything. Everyone's just trying to make friends and get connections here. This is the best time to do that. Next thing to talk about is parties, right? College parties, what to expect, all that good stuff. The first thing we need to keep in mind is the fact that like this is not a movie, okay? Just because there's a party there doesn't mean that you get to go. This is actually shocking to me. The number of people who want to go to parties but don't because they literally can't get in. They have no connection, no one who's gonna let them get in. It's astounding. Do not let this happen to you. The first thing you're gonna do, especially if you're a dude, because girls can kind of just get into these parties, right? It's just how it goes. But as a guy, bro, you could even be like super good looking and super chill. They're not just gonna let you in just because you're a freshman and they don't know you. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go through a bunch of different frats. Like you're gonna go around your college, you're gonna see flyers for a bunch of different frats and their rushing schedules. Go ahead and pull up to these events. You'll get free food. All the brothers in the frat are gonna be super chill with you. You can have zero intention of joining the frat, but when you go there, just pretend like you're interested. Also tell the brothers there you're also looking at like a couple other frats. Just name them off, whether it's like, you know, Sigma Chi or Phi Kappa Theta. It literally doesn't matter what frats they are. Just start naming them off and pretend like you're interested in joining. They will treat you like really, really good. And then as like the month goes on and you're showing up to all these events, eventually that frat is going to throw some kind of a party, and that's when you have your in. You have some guy that you've been talking to, you probably added him on Snapchat and he's inviting you to all these rush events. Go ahead, make connections, have him like give you like an invite and ask you, hey, can I bring these other two friends? Can I get them on some list? And then boom, you already have your way in. Now, even if you do all of this and you have the connection, you have your way of like, say, getting into a party, like there is also some level of expectation that when you pull up, like if you're a dude and you pull up like with two of your homies, bro, you gotta bring like a couple girls with you. Like that's just how this shit goes, right? So that's when you have all this friend group and like a bunch of homies that you're with. Like it shouldn't have to be like a big effort to go ahead and do this. You should already have a friend group and you just pull up with them, and that way it's just much more smoother when you're trying to get into the party. It doesn't feel like you're taking something away from these people. They'll be way more chill about letting you in. I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like a little dirty right now for having to give like these like frat tips. This is actually outrageous that I'm putting this on YouTube, but hey, you guys are gonna find this super useful when you go to college. I hope it helps. Let's start running down the actual party content. Here's what to expect. Frat parties are like, they're mad overhyped. Like let's be real. Like they're actually not that fun, they're not that sick, and you'll understand that after a couple months of college. But when you first come to college, it feels like it's all the hype, right? You're gonna pull up there, it's gonna be some kind of a frat house. Usually it's not that big, it kind of stinks, it smells like weed, right? You know, people are, you know, they're gonna be drinking, they're gonna be doing all kinds of degenerate stuff in there. You're gonna go, you're gonna get in, it's gonna be mad dark, music's gonna be blasting. You're not really gonna know that many people in there when you first go, but just like with everything else, you're gonna stick it out and try to have a good time. Parties will start happening from the moment you pull up to school. I'm telling you, if you think that there's no parties going on, it's just because you don't have the contacts and you don't know the people. There are always events that are going on during that first couple weeks of school. They're gonna be inviting people. See if you can follow like different frats. They'll have these like freshman pages where they have like parties that are kind of specifically for freshmen, trying to get them in during the first week of college. Find those pages, follow them. If they're hosting some kind of event and they say something like, oh, you know, the first 200 people will get onto our list, join that particular list to get your friends to do it too. These are all just good social activities to just go out to, put yourself out there, get some experience. I'll be fully honest here, going to these kinds of parties like alone, it's really like it's low-key brutal. If you don't go there with a friend group, it's rough because there's basically nothing to do. I remember for like maybe it was like my very first frat party that I went to. I think I got in there with like a couple guys, like my roommates and maybe 2-3 other guys, but I didn't really know them that well. And they dipped kind of early. So I was pretty much just alone there. I mean, I was doing the most to get myself out there. I talked to so many different people. I got a bunch of different like interactions in, a bunch of different contacts, met a bunch of cool people. But overall, like it wasn't like a fun thing. It was almost like working a job where I'm just there to like network and meet people and get some experiences. During the first week of college, bro, take the blow to your ego. Even if you don't feel like you're like him in that moment, stick it out at these parties, get to know people, understand the flow of how things go. It's going to be worth it. Later down the line, when you have a bunch of your friends, you know, your boys to pull up to the parties with, then you can actually have like a good time. But until then, just tank it out. We also have to talk about things like drinking and smoking or whatever. Yo, I'm not your parents, man. You guys do whatever you want in college, but I will give like 2 tips here. One, don't be an idiot, okay? You know what's good and what's bad. Just do it. If you're gonna do anything, just do it in moderation. Don't be the person that takes like 9 different shots and then like throws up on your homie. That's just weird. Even if you feel like you're getting to know someone really well in college and they're kind of one of your homies now, Just keep in mind, you probably met this person or didn't even know of their existence as of 2 months ago. Y'all are not that close. If you do something weird like this and you get branded like as a weirdo, that reputation for being weird doesn't just disappear. You're accountable for your own actions. Secondly, do not get addicted to stuff. When I say stuff, I mean nicotine, bro. Do not touch that shit. Bro, it's not gonna enhance your party experience. That stuff is actually garbage for you. Do not get addicted. Outfits for these parties are also kind of important. I didn't realize this when I was like first going to these occasions, but there are like themes for these parties. So if someone's telling you, something's gonna happen, ask them like what the theme is for like the outfit. Maybe they want you to wear like a certain color, or usually it'll be like Hawaiian theme or something. So just make sure you bring like one of those like frat shirts to colleges or like a vacation shirt. It'll be perfect for these settings. On top of that, when you go to these events, like bro, they are degenerate. Do not bring anything that you really care about, anything expensive. I remember like at one party, I almost like lost this pearl necklace. It's not super expensive or whatever, but I do like wearing it a lot, and I was feeling bad for like having misplaced it, and eventually I did find it. But after that, I just never wore this again because I realized that if I do lose it, I'm gonna be kind of mad. But some other jewelry, some like cheap chain that you bought off of like an H&M site for $5, like you're not gonna get mad if you lose that. So this is the occasion to be wearing those things. The last thing about parties is just to trust that you will have more fun as college keeps going. Even if right now, in this particular moment, it feels like there's nothing going on, your college campus and the people kind of suck, trust me, things will get better as time goes on. It's just how life goes. And don't take yourself too seriously. Part of enjoying your first few months of college also just comes down to your health. You want to make sure that even after you go to college, you're still working out. I really recommend going to the gym in like your first week of college because the other people who are at the gym are also going to be the same people who are super dedicated to that kind of gym lifestyle. You can meet a bunch of cool like people there, a bunch of new friends, and then you can also invite those same people to do workouts with you in the future. So you're right at home. When you go to your college dining hall, however, this is like your first real experience at eating food regularly that is not some home-cooked meal. Bro, whenever you go to the dining hall, there is going to be some garbage that they're offering you to eat. Whether it's in the morning, it's all like the pancakes and maple syrup, or during lunch when they have like the fries or tater tots that they let you pick from. Do not give in to the temptation of eating that stuff. When I was in college, like when I was in high school throughout, I always had a super strict diet. That was the one thing that I kept in check. So I was getting my protein in and I felt good. When I came to college and I saw the way that other people eat food, I literally saw my own homies after a gym session come to the dining hall, take a plate, fill it half with french fries, half with like tater tots, get a cup of like Coke, and eat that as a meal. And they would do it so often, and so many people around me would do it, that I started to think it was normal by the end of the semester. No. It is not normal, bro. It does not matter what your friends do. It does not matter what the people around you do. You do not give in to the temptation of eating the garbage food that they offer you in dining halls. What you want to do is find the healthier options within that, right? There's going to be some level of protein option. There's going to be some kind of salad option, some kind of pasta, some kind of if you eat like meat, right? They're going to have some kind of meat options or some kind of protein. I'm vegetarian personally. So what I would do is I would supplement my diet with like protein powder. These are the things that you want to be going for. Supplement your fitness journey. That's how you're gonna feel good inside. Do not eat this garbage. At this point, I've been going so crazy with like the fun side of college that it's almost like feels like I forgot about like the actual point of college, right? Which is to go there and study, right? To get good grades. I'm gonna show you like the best way to go about handling that right here. There are certain times when you can be a degenerate, and there are certain times when you need to lock in. In your mind, you need to compartmentalize these two things and understand when it is time to flip the switch. There are going to be certain days where there is some kind of party or your friends want to go out, but you have a personal test that's coming up the next day and you know it's important. These are the times when you decide to lock in, you say no to other people, and you work hard, you get the grades that you want, and then as soon as your test is done, you are off the hook. You can go do whatever it is that you want to do in your free time. Friends will make your life so much easier. If you need people to study with, your friends will be there for you. If you need someone to work on a group project with, or maybe you like in some classes you'll have like mandatory attendance. You need your friend to, spot you for one day and do what needs to be done. They got you. You need someone to maybe give you some inspiration or ideas for like a homework assignment you're working on. Friends are your key to success in college. There's pretty much like no feasible way to have like a poppin' social life and also just be grinding homework 24/7 in isolation. These two things will kind of need to be blended together, which is why it's always great if you go to a school and you can make friends with people who like to have fun, but they're also bright people who care about their future and will study, because that way you guys can all hold each other accountable. When I was in high school, my high school was very homework oriented. So a lot of the work that we did was just outside of the classroom. That led to our grades. When you go to college, at the majority of colleges, it's super test oriented. And so if you're not like someone who has a lot of experience like studying for these tests, or you're not really used to being in a class where 70 or 80% of your grade is just based on tests. I mean, I've had classes where 90% of my college grade is just based on exams and your final exam. Get used to it, and the best way to go about doing that is that when the first wave of exams comes around, so this will be like usually about a month into college, just take a little bit extra time. Maybe you spend one weekend like not going out or doing anything super social, and you just lock in to study. Focus on your studying, do the best you can, get those good grades. Because I remember like the first chemistry test I took in college, I was treating it just like it was high school. And in high school, I had my own routine for this, where like the day before an exam, I'd spend a couple hours studying, I'd go and take the exam, boom, easy 100. In college, I tried doing the same thing on my first chemistry exam, and I if it wasn't for like the bonus question, bro, I'd have dropped like a 76 or something, which is, it's not terrible, but like relatively speaking, it's not a great score to be working with. Take a little extra time to study for college exams, because they are going to be a step up from high school. The first test is also usually the easiest test of the semester, so if you get a bunch of 90s and 100s, then boom, you're pretty much set. Have goals for your grades, and then keep yourself accountable. Make like a goal right as the semester's starting that look, I'm not going to get any more than 1B, or I'm going to have a GPA of above a 3.8. I'm telling you, these are not difficult goals. I went through my entire first year of college having gotten only 1 A- after 2 terms. Bro, it's not that hard. And this is after with me going out, having a bunch of fun, working on a YouTube channel in all my free time, not really studying that much. I was able to do this. I'm telling you, it's not that hard. A hot topic of debate that will really come up about 3 weeks into college is in regards to skipping class. When you first show up to college, everyone's gonna go to class. I'm telling you, your lecture halls are going to be packed. And when you start talking to people about this idea of skipping, you have this mentality that people will start talking to you about I'm paying for college, and I've already, my parents are helping me out with this. I feel guilty in skipping class. That'll last for about a month. I'm telling you, as soon as the first exam of a class happens, that's when, if you go to the lecture that's right after the first exam, half the class will be gone, because people will just stop showing up. A lot of your classes will also not have mandatory attendance, so they'll post the lecture notes online, and maybe the homework assignments as well, and so you technically don't have to go. But I'm just gonna give my take on this. First of all, use your common sense here. Do you actually need to know this material in the future? Is it super important to you? If you're a biology major, for instance, you're a pre-med major, and you're in your chemistry class, should you know this in the future? Yes, it's kind of important if you want to go on to med school. However, if you're an engineering major and you're taking a history class right now, is that history class that important? Are you ever going to take another history class after that? Chances are probably not. If that's the case and the class is not that relevant, well then that class makes a little bit more sense to be skipping than one of your core classes. The other thing to keep in mind is to just use your best judgment with these things. Are you the type of student that if you skip class, you're actually going to go back in the evening, read the class notes, take your own notes on whatever lecture slides there are, do the homework and figure these things out? Do you have connections in the class to where if the professor says something and you're not there, you'll know that something happened, you missed something? Keep all of these things in mind, because these are the most important things. If you realize that you're not that type of student, or you don't have any connections in the class, well then it might just be a better idea to just go to class. These lectures are not happening in prime party time here. We're talking 2 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. Bro, just go to class. You don't have to be taking a nap right now and playing games in your dorm. You're in college, bro. Go to class. Last tips I have for the video are just general life setup tips. These will just help you out when you're getting your mentality as you get into college. Do what you enjoy in college about 60% of the time. Okay? Hear me out here. When you're doing something new, or there's something that you don't feel super comfortable doing, there's gonna be a level of anxiety to it. And so if this is your first time, going out, hanging out with certain types of people, especially if you're a little bit more on the introverted side, you're gonna feel a lot of times you don't want to do it. Those are the same times where you just push yourself and you go ahead and do it, especially the first couple months of college, because what you'll realize is after the fact, you become so much more comfortable doing those things than beforehand. It's just worth your time to go. Now, with that being said, if you truly go do something and you hate it, or you're hanging out with certain people and you feel like they're mad fake or they don't really fit your energy, then obviously cut them off. But generally, do what you like 60% of the time. And then, of course, when it comes to something like homesickness, for instance, it's going to set in probably around like October to November time, whenever you've been in college for like 1 to 2 months. For me personally, I spent my entire first semester in college. I didn't come home for Thanksgiving break, nothing. I went to college in August. I came back for winter break in December. Yeah, by the time I came back, I was feeling kind of bad. But when you are feeling down, you're feeling lonely, call up your parents, bro. They'll pick up the phone. They'll make you feel better. Make sure to have some connections. Don't feel bad that you're like feeling down or feel that you have to put on this super tough persona. Bro, like it's really not that deep. Like you want to do what's best for you and your mental health. If that means that you open like a little journal and you jot down your thoughts for the day, or that means you open up to like your roommate or a close friend about how you're feeling, do those things. Like it's absolutely worth it in order to keep your mental health in shape and to make sure that you can enjoy your first couple months of college. Hopefully I didn't make this video too long and you guys were able to enjoy the process, like learn a bunch of stuff about college. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.